Hey Sam, we are live, Sam.
Good. Let me know when you are live. Hello, who is
Hey,
this?
Hello,
yep.
sir. This is Priyamvada.
Yes, Priyamvada. Good, good.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
really.
just making sure of the logistics.
No, no, no. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, sir, for
No,
connecting
no,
with
no.
us. Actually,
You guys have been terrific. Let me tell you.
no,
I'm
it's
privileged.
it's just
So,
it's actually good that we are able to hear you out. Especially, you know, people from India, they don't get much more of what's happening in the world. They're just with. So that's a good initiative by
Thank
IOC
you. Thank you.
USA.
No, you all have really added value in your own way.
Thank you, sir. That's very kind.
No, no, no. Where are you based, Priyamvada? Are you in
So
Delhi?
I'm from Mumbai actually, but I live in Oxford. I work in University of Oxford in finance, and I do like social media. I'm like a volunteer
Wow.
for Congress. Yeah.
Wow. Are you a graduate student in finance?
No, I finished my graduation. I did MBA from Mumbai,
Wow.
and then I came here and did masters. I had actually met you during Rahulji's conference in London.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a very brief because you were all in a hurry. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good. uh,
Hopefully, we'll come again in most probably between you and me is not public.
yeah.
Hopefully, we'll come in early part of next year.
Okay. Yeah,
Sam,
that
we
would
are
be
already
great.
live. So
Okay, let's go.
we are, yeah, we are
Okay,
already live, and I want to thank Sam today for taking out time despite his not so great health. So last week he was in California meeting with
wealth is the
us
right
in
word.
Sunnyvale and Los Angeles.
No, I was saying wealth is
Yeah,
the right
so
word,
wealth
not
is the
health.
right word.
Yeah,
Okay, so health wealth. So he's despite, I think yesterday he was very down, but still he's making time for us. I want to appreciate. Let's roll, Sam.
thank you, Sean,
Okay.
and thank you, Privadana and others. Greetings from Chicago. I really, really, and sincerely appreciate all the work you young people are doing on various platforms to give me opportunity to interact with you. I know it takes a lot, mainly because of various time zones, people involved at various levels in India, Europe, America, and connecting all of them and bringing them on one major sort of set of platforms is not an easy task. So I personally want to thank you for all the time and effort you all have put in. For last week, I've been a little bit sick. We had a Indian Overseas Congress program in San Francisco and LA. It was a little bit cold in San Francisco. In LA, there were about 800 people in a hall, lot of shaking hands, meeting people, hugging them. Same thing in San Francisco. And somewhere I picked up cold virus. I don't get cold that easily. I take precautions with all the vaccines and everything. But 3, 4 days have been really bad. I'm back a little bit. You may see the difference in my voice. So I'm going to speak a little slow. So thank you again for the opportunity. Last week we missed because of the event in LA. So I thought it would be necessary to not miss this week. So here I am. The topic we had decided to discuss was about the role of social media in democracy. We all know what is going on at the ground level, but I want to set the stage for a deeper conversation on this subject, which I believe is very, very critical for global democracy. It is not just about India or US, it is equally true in Brazil, Mexico, Turkey, and many parts of the world, UK, France, Germany. I'm not an expert in democracy and, for that matter, also in social media. But I made some observations, some very apparent, others may not be that apparent. So I want to share with you some of these observations before we open up for question answers. My view of democracy is a little bit biased, perhaps, because it comes from the high moral ground. It comes from Gandhi's version of democracy, Mandela's version of freedom and human right, Martin Luther King's version of equality, justice. Because democracy, as we all understand, is all about for the people, by the people, and of the people. Unfortunately, in the process of development, this idea of democracy has been hijacked. It has been hijacked to some extent by rich and famous with focus on profit and power. So democracy has become for the rich and poor. They get to decide what is right, what is wrong. By rich and poor, they get elected. They have the money to fight elections. They back candidates. And of rich and famous, you look at world over, all the political bosses who control whether parliaments or state governments, or in America, Senate, congressmen, they are all fairly well off in their own way. And they have learned to milk the system in the name of doing service to people. So this has really created environment of polarized politics, narrow interest groups, voters' apathy. For example, political leaders promise during election all kinds of things, freebies to false promises to deliver this, that, and never deliver. In the next election, they promise some more and never go back and look at the track record saying, what did I say? What did I do? Because most of the time they don't mean what they say and they don't say what they mean. In addition, our election systems and voting systems are such that if you won the election by very narrow margin and have only maybe 30-40% of the votes, you get to decide for 100%. So based on a narrow interest group, you won the election and you think your duty is to serve your narrow interest group and not to the people. So leaders forget they are elected to promote certain values, implement certain programs for everybody, and not just for the people who elected them. So this brings me to my favorite comments that the world really has come to a point where there is too much emphasis on profit and power, and in the process, we have completely ignored planet and people. It is time for democracies to come back and start focus on planet and people. You look at the meeting going on, COP28 right now, where there are a lot of conversations on climate, but these things have been going on for 30 years. What do we have to show on the ground beside speeches by leaders? So, in this kind of an environment where I believe democracies world over are being hijacked, we need to discuss the role of social media. Social media has really accelerated this process of hijacking as opposed to preventing. Social medias include companies and instruments like Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, some of the payment systems embedded with the social media, and many other less known social media platforms that make up this whole tribe called social media. There are two fundamental issues with social media that I have talked for maybe for last 10 years, but it doesn't get any attention or traction. One, unauthenticated behavior. This to me is the most serious problem today and from day one. What it means is that I can register on social media as Sam Pitroda, as Samuel Pitroda, as Satyan Pitroda, as even Satyan Patel if I want. So I can have multiple registration because nobody is asking for my ID. Nobody is asking me to authenticate that I am real Sam Pitroda. Somebody else can go and say Sam Pitroda 1, Sam Pitroda 91, or whatever. And you get multiple registration. This was encouraged because all social medias in the early days were valued based on eyeballs and subscribers. So if you have more subscribers, you get better valuation. If you get better valuation, you can borrow more money. If you can borrow more money, you can get more customers by spending it on marketing. So you created an environment where you encourage individual to register multiple times and hide behind this veil and then say all kinds of things because that's not you. You made somebody and you can have him say the bad words because nobody knows who that person is. So today, based on my talk here, 10 people would criticize me. You may see that as a criticism, but those 10 people don't exist in the real form. They exist to criticize. I can't get their face in front of me and say, are you really the one who said this? Maybe some will, but most will not. So this unauthenticated behavior has really created havoc because of bots and many other, where you have army of people in social media hired by interest groups, paid to attack individuals, ideas, organizations, parties, nations. In last election in the US, we are told that Russia had an important role to play in changing the tone because of their army of people on social media. I know what goes on in India. Every time you say something, there'll be a whole series of people who will come with attack. Second is more clicks. If you get more clicks, you get better advertising revenue. And if you get better advertising revenue, you can again borrow more money to expand. And coupled with these two, unauthenticated registration and unauthenticated behavior and misinformation really started exponential growth. So you get more subscribers listed than you already really have. And you have people who are encouraged to spread misinformation. Give you an example. Not a very good example, but let me give you anyway. Saying you can tweet that while I was listening to Sam Pitroda, he died. And naturally, it will create large number of tweets from my friends, my well-wishers, my associates, my colleagues, and there'll be a lot of conversation. What happened? How did it happen? This and that. This is misinformation, but it created millions of social media clicks. Then you can go back and say that Sam Petra was my horse or my dog. And then there'll be another few million tweets saying, have you heard this? This was all fake. Believe me, people are paid, literally paid to spread misinformation. Nobody talks about it in public. So these two issues, if we had taken care of in the early days of rise of social media through regulation, very tight regulation, I think we wouldn't be where we are. I'm more concerned about what is going to happen with AI. We definitely need more regulation because on one hand, democracy is being hijacked. On the other hand, social media is fueling this whole process in a big way. And ultimately, poor people, underprivileged, are the ones who are paying the price. Rich are becoming richer anyway. So inequality has increased. People's voice has diminished in value. Propaganda, marketing has become a major issue in democracy. I mean, there are companies who specialize in marketing in democracy. What are you marketing? Gandhiji never had public relations department. Mandela never hired ad agency. Martin Luther King never sat down with a communications company to say, what should be my strategy? How should I speak? What should I lie? That's what is selling today. I get large number of people to say, hire us to spread your message. Your narrative is not right. You should do this. You should do that. I listen to them. And at the end, I say to myself, am I that fake that I need somebody else to massage my message, to make it right? Because this is what Gandhi would have said. So I think we need to go back to high moral ground on democracy, on values, characters. And this is of great concern to me. So hopefully with this background, we can talk and have question answer session on social media and democracy. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Privadana. Thank you, others, for joining me, and hope this little introduction was useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I think thanks for taking pain despite you are not well. So there are a lot of questions coming from different channels. I'll just go through. Today we have got a lot of people from Zoom. So I think Kirtika Dharan from Bangalore have asked a question: how to react to fake and hatred posts?
Well, you have to focus on the values you believe in. If you believe in love, don't follow on hate. Ignore it. Or tell him, thank you, I still love you. Think what Gandhiji would do. Today you look at this wars going on in Ukraine and Palestine because they are responding to violence with violence. We can't respond to hate with hate. Many would say, oh, it's idealism, you're crazy, you need to fight it. Well, that's your option. Okay, you may be right. But I won't do that. I will not fight hate with hate. Just because somebody hates me doesn't mean I need to hate him or her. And you have to feel it inside. It's not by words. And that's tough. You have to train yourself. You have to have that inner discipline to say, I will love my enemy because he's ignorant. He doesn't know, poor guy, who I am. And maybe someday he will change, but that's okay for him to make judgment based on little information here or there. So the only answer to hate is love and not hate. Thank you.
Aditya Dumale in Zoom have asked, may I know your thoughts on social media impact on existing political system, bringing up new policy on social media to share a few positive thoughts to young stars, which can help in mitigating the fake news in the Indian political system.
Absolutely. My first and foremost important request would be to authenticate yourself, saying, I am Sam Pitroda, I take responsibility for what I say. And if I say something that is hurting somebody, and if they come to me, I will review it, change my opinion, apologize, or argue, discuss, debate, and try to convince you. But there is only one Sam Pitroda, and that's me, and not other 8 fake who are tweeting on my name and all. And then I get calls saying, have you said this? And I have to defend. And so, no, 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 I didn't say it, but it says it's on your social media. Well, I don't even know who that person is. So one is the authenticated behavior. If Government of India tomorrow decides that everybody on social media must authenticate themselves and take responsibility for what they say. 2, have strict laws for spreading rumors that affect large number of people. Petty little rumors here and there don't matter, but rumors that create social conflict, disharmony, community fights, like what happened in Mizoram, like what happens in some other parts of the country on Hindu-Muslim violence, or burning churches, or what happens even in this country. on killing on student campus shopping center. Those kinds of issues need to be taken seriously. So yes, regulation has a very important role to play. But then you need to set up courts on social media. And because we just can't have a system like this and then have 50 million court cases pending. It doesn't make sense. I mean, let's say we have new rules in social media today, but in India we have 50 million court cases pending. What good is it to add another 10 million because of social media or a million? So you got to look at the total system. Can you deliver justice to people through these rules and regulations? Is the key challenge.
Thank you, Sam. Ganesh Pagar is asking, this is more about entrepreneurship. One of the challenge in India is for first generation entrepreneurs to get timely fund. What can we do more on it to get fund for first generation entrepreneurs?
Well, funding is a challenge in India because people don't have a risk capital. New ventures require risk capital. Somebody is willing to take risk and put his money in a new venture. Indian people in general don't really appreciate risk. If they have money, they would rather put it in a system where you can get 24%, 20% interest, 15%, whatever. If that's the case, why would I risk my capital? So you need access to access capital or access to added capital, which can be considered risk capital. I mean, I've said this earlier that it is shame that a country of 1.5 billion people do not have our own operating system. Why? Because nobody wants to put that money in building a new operating system, which is a risk. So if the top 5 IT companies came together and say, here is a pool of $2 billion, and this $2 billion will go to risk capital to encourage all new ideas in India. It'll be great, but they won't do it. They would rather take that money, use it on themselves and their companies. So it's a very serious issue. Without risk capital, there cannot be a growth of innovation and entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Sam. A lot of people have joined us today from Congress Seva Dal also. We have collaborated
Great.
with Indian Youth Congress and the National Students Union of India, all 3 other entities today, first time. So a lot of them are asking for you to speak in Hindi. Do you want to say something in Hindi also? I think
प्रयत्न
Eldil,
करेंगे
yeah.
प्रयत्न करेंगे सबसे पहले आप लोगों का मैं आभारी हूं कि आपने समय लेके यहाँ हमें सुनने और हमसे इंटरेक्ट करने का मौका लिया। जो विषय पे हम बात करते हैं ये मोस्टली टेक्निकल हैं, तो हमारा दिमाग जो इंग्लिश में सोचता है उसे ट्रांसलेशन करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि हमारी ट्रेनिंग आज 60 साल में ऐसी हुई कि सोचना हमने गुजराती और हिंदी से बंद किया और इंग्लिश से शुरू किया कभी। सो हम सोचते इंग्लिश में हैं, अगर मैं बात करनी हो हिंदी में और गुजराती में, विच इज माय मदर टंग, आई हैव टू ट्रांसलेट। जब तक हमारी माताजी जिंदा थी यहाँ पे शिकागो में, तब हम उनके साथ गुजराती बोलते थे, तब बड़ा सीधा था। लेकिन अब माता जी चली गई 15-20 साल से, सो किसी से गुजराती बोलने का मौका भी नहीं मिलता और हिंदी बोलने का भी मौका नहीं मिलता। सो ठीक है, आपने जो याद दिलाया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं प्रयत्न करूंगा, और आप लोग सब जो काम करते हैं सेवा दल में, यूथ कांग्रेस में, वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। सेवा दल कांग्रेस पार्टी का एक बहुत बड़ा प्लेटफॉर्म है। गांधी जी सेवा दल में बहुत मानते थे, सेवा में बहुत मानते थे। हर गांव गांव में सेवा दल होना चाहिए। हर गांव गांव में 10, 20, 25 लोग ऐसे होने चाहिए जो लोगों को फ्री सेवा दे। डॉक्टर्स, डेंटिस्ट, फायर ब्रिगेड, टीचर्स, these are all the sevas we need to provide to people to really build our communities. Unfortunately, हमने ये अच्छी तरह से नहीं किया है। सेवा दल की वजह से हम लोगों का दिल जीत सकते हैं। सेवा दल एक ऐसी इंस्टीट्यूशन है जो लोगों को जगा सकती है। बहुत सारा काम है सेवा दल में। सोशल मीडिया भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, और द आइडिया ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी विच इज फॉर द पीपल, बाय द पीपल, ऑफ द पीपल, ये सेवा दल में जुड़ा हुआ है। सो मैं प्रयत्न करूंगा हिंदी में बोलने का। आप प्रश्न पूछिए। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Sam. So I'm going to bring India with Congress, one of the youth platform, to the stage. They are running a Twitter space. Priyamada, you are on, so you can ask questions. You can ask your audience from Twitter space, India with Congress, to ask questions. Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyone from this IWC wants to ask any question? Niyati want to speak something?
Hi Niyati, how are you?
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, actually, I'm traveling, but yeah. This is just, sir, regarding, like, of course, when we are talking about social media, so we aim to also have a lot of, we have different ideas and suggestions, so that we can have more audiences in the times, because there are a lot of people, and this needs to be heard. It's a very great series that's going on. And I think we need to have a little more discussion internally, so that how can we improve our audience base, and this needs to be discussed, and because there is a lot of scope that we can achieve.
Thank you, Niyati. Really appreciate your.
We have our other frontals together. So I'm sorry, but then okay.
No, Niyati, really thank you for your comment.
Also, yes.
Go ahead. You
Niyati,
finish it.
Sam has heard your question.
No, you
Yeah.
finish it.
Go ahead.
You finish it, Niyati.
Yeah. So, Shan, this is for you. We need to have, after this call, maybe we can take this up. Okay.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Niyati, for your input. I appreciate your
Thank you.
concern for expanding the outreach. But I'm really not connected with the audience as well as you are connected. You all are young people. You have your own network. You know what works, what doesn't work. I'm a little bit disconnected from it. But based on my journey, my experiences, I want to share with you some of the important lessons of life, as if these are my children, these are my relatives, these are my cousins, and people who have the same DNA that I have. And that doesn't have to be Indian, could be anybody. I'm a humanitarian first, then I'm Indian and American. I'm both. So I love people. I don't care about their religion. I don't care about what they eat, how they feel about certain things. I'm okay with the differences. So you all have to come together and have a brainstorming session on how to focus on reach. I can provide richness in the conversation, but I may not be able to provide reach that you all have. I'm delighted that on the screen there are lots of interesting questions on TRI, on a friend of mine, Khalid Moidu, um, on LLMs. So there are lots of interesting ideas you all have, and we need to have a conversation on it. I'm available, you know, anytime you need, because to me, this is my duty at this age. I want to share my views and my thoughts. Not that I'm right on everything. So don't take me too seriously. You do your own analysis. You are qualified, capable, I respect you, and you can reject some of my ideas. It doesn't mean you are rejecting me. So it's okay. You can argue with me, you can disagree with me. I respect that. I saw a question from Khalid on unemployment. We can talk on these things for hours and hours. One day Sean was here in Chicago with my colleague Rakesh Patel, and we were talking about this, and I gave them a list of 400 or 300 topics that I could speak on. And believe me, not that again I'm expert on 300 topics, but I have a soul that has been touched by these 300 subjects. And I have views on friendship, I have views on love, I have views on children, I have views on education, health, housing, employment, you name it. We can have a conversation. So these kinds of conversations are important, Niyati. And we do need to find that in a country of 1.5 billion people, we have hundreds of thousands joining every week, and not 500 or 1,000. That's what we need to work. So my request would be to you, Niyati, is to call a meeting of all these people, young people, on Zoom or what, and you all decide how each one can expand their reach, because that itself is a task that you got to take seriously. So if you have 8 platforms or 10 platforms, on each platform, who are the champions? In India, there are 700 districts. How do we reach out to large number of districts? One interesting thing I learned yesterday, which I should have known, but shame on me that I didn't know, is I was reading a report written by a friend of mine, Dr. Kelkar. Ketkar. He's a great economist, electrical engineer. We worked together in Rajiv Gandhi's time. And I was surprised to learn that only 15 districts produce 50% of GDP in India. Can you believe that? Out of 700 districts in India, roughly, only 15 districts produce 50% of GDP. I read that last night and I said, I should have known this. And I started thinking about it, saying, what would happen if another 150 districts join these 15 districts? Indian GDP will skyrocket. So these are the kind of ideas we need to multiply. So I would request you all Maybe do a little bit of crowdsourcing, saying, how do we multiply? How do we get people excited in 15 cities or 20 cities? I run a food bank in India, and we are in 50 cities. We provide food to hungry people. Can we go to those 50 cities and say, in each city, who is our champion, who is going to help us multiply this platform? And we can do this on a regular basis. Okay. And there is something to be said about
So,
detailed conversation, going into depth with one person, and not about having 10 people shouting at each other. So I like this focused conversation, one to one, on a subject with large number of young people. And to me, it is a deep conversation. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, social media, how can we use it in a better way to improve transparency, basically in, the government functioning, which is lacking in India right now? I mean, now it's impossible because it's another, like the government is of a different ideology altogether. Their functioning is different. But in a normal environment, like when Congress comes to power in future, how we will, use these new methods from social media to increase more and more transparency so that the services are developed to the last person, especially in the rural areas. So
I think in India, one, we definitely need to focus on authenticated behavior. So we need to make sure that people register, identify themselves. Two, in India, we need to really decentralize social media. So Marathi media, Gujarati media, Tamil media, because language is important in India. It is sad that social media, which is supposed to be to enhance social contact, has become too international. So even in a village, people want to know about Elon Musk
yeah.
and not about their own leader. It's sad. Okay. I was watching with my wife something a couple of days ago, and some young guy on Indian television said, I want to be the most powerful man in the world. I mean, what? And they were all clapping and they were all, happy. And I said, what kind of a stupid thing to say, poor little kid? Okay. And so they asked him, why do you want to be most powerful? So I said, because then I can control, then I have lots of money. And people started clapping some more. Okay. That's the kind of environment we have created, as opposed to saying, I want to be happy with my community. I want to take care of my village. I want to take care of my parents. And in the process, I want prosperity for all. That thought was foreign. So you are right. We need to, if I had an option today, I would develop a new social media just for India. Okay. We tried that 15 years ago. I tried that. When Pitroda was just coming out with my team at the Planning Commission, young people like Vikas and Sukhman and Bindeshwari and everybody, I said, let's develop our own social media. What does it take? It's not a rocket science. Okay. I would like social media in Gujarat to be different from social media in
thank you,
Maharashtra,
thank you.
to be different from social media in Telangana, because our problems are unique. I want to, if I'm in Telangana, I want to talk about Telangana, bhai. What's happening to my road, my school, my teacher, my hospital, my family, my cousins? Of course, once in a while, I want to know what's happening to Elon Musk also. But that option is available to me. But don't get me wrapped up in your idea of wealth and power. I want to be wrapped up in my idea of my people and my environment. That's the difference. So we can create our own social media. No big deal. But we need political will. If I create social media, let's say an entire um, youth congress, Sevadal, and professionals say, that we will use this new social media. Don't need to market. Okay, we got tens of millions of people of our own. Okay, why do I need to spend money on marketing like that? So we are not creating our own unique solutions. We are taking solutions from abroad, using it, and in the process, we are bringing foreign values and destroying our own values. Look at how people treat their parents in foreign countries and look at how people treat their parents in India.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's a great thing that India has to offer to the world. That the social security is their children. Doesn't have to be from government.
Hmm.
In my generation, no one ever thought that you are not supposed to take care of your parents. You did that not as your duty, but as a way of life. My both parents died in my own house. My um, wife's father died at 103 here in Chicago. And we thought it was a privilege and not a burden. But look at what is going on today. People want to put their parents in retired home. That's very Western. And we got into this because of all this social media and foreign influence. I mean, I love Indian families and friends. You go and you become, you see, one interesting thing I've observed about Indians is that we can form a primary bond instantly. In Western culture, it takes decades to form a primary bond. I may meet Niyati or Privadana or Sean or Rakesh and instantly become friends and say, come home. Oh, you're staying in hotel. Don't stay in hotel. Come stay with us. It's very normal. In Western culture, that does not happen. So how do we use the best part of what we have to really influence the world and not get influenced by others? I would want world to learn how Indians in the past have taken care of their parents. It's a great value system. No parents had social system, social security. Kids took care of them and took care of them with respect, dignity, love, care. Thank you. I can go on
Thank
and
you
on.
so
Sounds
much.
good. Sounds. So we have a bunch of questions in Zoom as well as in the chat. Okay, Neti, I'm going to take over the stage. Is that okay? Okay. Okay. So I think there is a question from
Yeah,
Joseph.
I can read it. Joseph Bito.
Unemployment in the agriculture sector, indirect effect of job loss in other sectors like IT service. Unfortunately, attention to agriculture has been stepmotherly.
Joseph, I know you. We have dealt in the past. Thank you for joining. This is very, very important question. We have not paid attention to agriculture technology because it is not sexy. So everybody wants to go to IT. Everybody wants to become doctor and engineer. Nobody wants to become agricultural scientist. There is a vacancy of something like 30, 40,000 agricultural scientists in India. Just check it out. It's a big number. Why don't you produce enough agricultural scientists who study soil, who look at microbes, who look at environmental impact, look at seeds, look at many, many issues. For example, we don't grow. Somebody just reminded me a couple of days ago again. Bharat Bhushan is the name of the man who is in touch with me all the time. And he reminded me that India does not grow enough almond. In the Himalayan foothill, we can grow all kinds of dry fruits and other things. We don't do it. We don't have almond technology. Okay. We don't grow enough of lots of things that we import today. We import something like $500 million worth of dry fruits. So, how do we really get more agricultural research, agricultural scientists, modernize our agriculture university, field work? Then only you can improve income of the farmer. When Prime Minister said we will double the income of the farmer, it was empty promise. I don't think they understood what it takes to double the income of the farmer. You just can't say it without thinking through. But they do. They make hollow promises and never deliver. And people get all excited. If Congress government comes to power, I'm going to work very hard to help modernize our agriculture sector with the best tools available, whether it is satellite technology, drone technology, technology to do natural farming, get better seeds, grow multiple crops. We just grow wheat and paddy. That's it. Okay. And we have such a fertile land. We are blessed with Ganga. We are blessed with lots of great rivers in India. Our agriculture should be modernized to a point. India can become food supplier for the world. Look at people around us. You look at Middle East, it's all desert. Go north, it's all snowing. We are really blessed. We could be a giant in food business. And it's not about packaged food. It's not about food preservatives. It is about better soil, better microbes. Indian vegetables taste very different, much better than Western vegetables. Why? Because it has local genetic pool. So I am very, very concerned about agriculture. And I've learned a lot from others on agriculture. I'm still learning. And I'm committed to modernizing agriculture sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I think there's a question from Zoom from Josefa Haidri. Is the system of social media like a milking cow, like tobacco or alcohol, where to create more humane laws to safeguard the right to free speech and information can be instituted by the common people's vote in the legislature election and next general election?
See, free speech is important, but free speech has to come with respect and dignity. Free speech does not necessarily give me right to attack anybody on anything by all kinds of lies. Free speech does not give me a license to say you are corrupt without really any proof, to say nasty things about you without any background and get away with it. So I think anything free comes with responsibility. And there is one thing I have learned in life is that responsibility is something nobody gives you. You have to take it. Nobody gives you responsibility to do something. You take the responsibility. So free speech is one of those rights where you have to take the responsibility. And people are not taking that responsibility seriously. That's a problem.
Sundarajan, thank you, Sam.
I see that.
Sundarajan Venkatraman, can an international ombudsman be formed to control the equivalent of TROI in each country to filter on an ISP or telco level?
You don't need international ombudsman. You really need a national. Okay, every country, every big country at least, if you're big country like ours, you don't need international for this. But some guidelines are important, and you need local level control. You need district level. I want to decentralize a lot of this. Congress should open boarding school for poor and lower middle class and middle class people free of cost for KG and
Kapil Pal from Meerut.
yeah, you see, all of these issues require detailed analysis on cost benefits because people come up with all kinds of ideas to provide free education, free health, free food, free housing, free road, free electricity. It's not possible. We would like to do it. I would like everything to be free for everybody, but it's not practical. Somebody has to work, somebody has to pay. So even if we are going to open a boarding school for lower and middle class people, it doesn't have to be free. It'd be nice if it was free. Don't get me wrong. So I think education is a fundamental right. We need to improve quality of education. We need to really do three things in education, and I've said this in our report of the National Knowledge Commission. We need to expand, we need to excel by improving quality, and we need to make sure that it is accessible to everybody. Next.
Next is Santosh Talagati from LinkedIn has asked, the SDG or startup ecosystem, 80% people are not part of the ecosystem. They have just been an audience imposed to celebrate politics celebrities. What are your thoughts to get one and all involved in the process? Otherwise, only certain numbers remain highlighting and others remain out of the system.
SDGs are written by a friend of mine, Jeffrey Sack. Jeffrey and I go a long way. Jeffrey is a great guy. He's a professor at Columbia. He and I talk on and off. And 17 goals are too many goals. And some of these are fundamentals that we need to take care of ourselves. We don't need some outsiders in terms of UN or anybody to say you got to take care of your environment. Nice. I'm glad they are doing it. I'm for it. But I got to take responsibility. And it boils down ultimately to responsibility. We are talking about these sustainable goals, but look at the air in Delhi. I mean, there is total disconnect between what we say and what we do. So we need to improve environment in Delhi. And we don't need UN to tell us that. I'm glad UN is telling to remind us. But these are all local issues. We got to solve it ourselves. I feel better solution for the fake news is to fix from source.
I can read it because there are some people from space, Twitter space. So also wanted to check on the time, Sam. Are you okay? Are you doing well? You are not well.
I'm okay for a while.
You are good.
I'm okay for a while.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
okay.
So there's a LinkedIn user asking, I feel the better solution for the fake news is to fix from the source. I mean, once the fake news is posted, it should be verified before publishing. Do you think that we need a social media policy to make this change?
It'd be good if we can do that. It'll be good, but the people will say, look, I have a right to say what I want to say. Okay. But if there was a way to automatically say this is lie and this is truth, or give some index and just leave it saying this looks like a lie, and that's okay.
Khalid Moidu from Facebook is saying, would you suggest we raise a value system of tolerance and acceptance?
Of course, that's very Gandhian. Of course, Khalid, we need to be tolerant of other people. We need to be accepting that and accepting them as part of us. And that's what inclusion is all about. That's what respect for diversity is all about. Tolerance. I mean, I can't get angry if somebody eats beef. Come on. That's their privilege. Okay. And we get irritated.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. Veer Seth.
Yeah, Veer Seth, like how we have a Rahul fanboy club in Congress. I think
No,
there
no,
is a
no. I
fanboy club
don't have
for
to
you.
be. I don't have to be anybody. I'm
Well, I
okay
think
being.
people don't read this. I'll read it for the people. We say this asking Dr. Sam, we would like to see you as the next PM of India because you have the vision. Thank you, Veer said. Go ahead, Sam.
No, I may have the vision, but that's one piece of the puzzle. Prime Minister needs lot many more things. I wish I was 50-year-old. I think we need Prime Minister to be a younger person. We'll all back him up. We'll all support him or her. We'll all work for. I don't need any title anymore. I'm done. I had the best title you could find almost 40 years ago. 40 years ago, I was advisor to the Prime Minister of India with the rank of a minister. I mean, what else you can ask for in life? And I had freedom to do what I wanted to do, more so than title. And I had support and political will from Prime Minister and lots of young, talented people working with him, working with me, including someone like Jairam Ramesh. He worked with me for 7 years. So I don't need anything. I'm pretty happy. Okay, I'm not rich. I'm not famous, but I'm content. I'm fulfilled. I'm loved. I work. I have great friends. I have great family, and I'm comfortable. You know, all my needs are met. My needs are minimum. I'm happy. So thank you.
Thank you, Sam. There are a few questions from Zoom. Ganesh Pagar, can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Hi, Ganesh. I don't see it.
Ganesh is in the Zoom, Sam. So he's proving.
No problem.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I can't hear you, Ganesh.
Oh, Ganesh question. Okay, Ganesh, why don't you put the question in the Zoom chat and I'll try to broad back it to Sam. I think Sam is
Okay.
okay, cool. And I think without much ado, I'll try to check once again with Priyamata on the Twitter space if there are any questions. If not, I
Okay.
think we can. If there are a few
Thank
more
you.
questions, we'll try to answer. Considering Sam's health,
No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Priyamata, do you have any last questions?
Does anyone have a question on Twitter Space? No, I don't think so.
Then I have a question.
Okay,
If
cool.
nobody has a question, can I ask a question to all of you?
Yes,
Sam,
of course,
please.
sir.
Okay. Be sincere. You don't have to be nice to me. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm comfortable. So you don't have to boost my ego or whatever. Is this really helping? Is it worth it? Do you like more of it? Or it is something we should drop it? It is a bunch of nonsense. What's your view? I want to understand. Really?
So I get a lot of thumbs up on like Space, so definitely it is worth it. Um, I mean, we'd be glad to have more conversations, of course. Just one feedback that if you little bit more talk in Hindi, then maybe we
I will do
can,
that. That's a good
yeah, we
feedback.
can
Yes. That's a very good feedback.
expose ourselves to more audience basically, because
You have to remind me every time.
yeah, I will do that of
Yeah,
course.
then I will do it. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
I think next time what we can do is the questions, right? We should do like a Hindi and English, like
ठीक है?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
everyone gets it. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Chalua Jayachandra from Zoom has asked.
Yes.
She's a Vimala. So even though there's high propaganda and social media on religion indifferences and fake news, on the contrary, people are suffering from the communal riots, price surge, breakdown of Aadhaar system, and has created concerns. Why these issues are still not creating a thinking amongst huge number of people, or is it this concerns doesn't matter to our citizens as our country always prioritize communities?
I think people have hijacked the situation. Okay. So you may be saying the right thing, but there are 2,000 people hired to say the wrong thing. So when you see those 2,000 tweeting or sending on social media messages, you feel that's public's voice. That is not public's voice. So don't confuse what you see on social media as public opinion. It is fabricated opinion. Okay. So you got
Thank
to
you.
learn to come up with your own truth. You got to learn to say this is fake and this is truth. This is right and this is wrong. This is fair, this is unfair. This is proper, this is not very proper. You got to do your own work.
Sounds good, Sam. And Ganesh Pagar is asking about agriculture. Farmers are not getting decent price for crops. What there is there any future plan for it from Congress?
Of course, I mean, the fair price system has to be relooked at. Market has to be opened much more. So farmers really have a free market and not controlled by a bunch of, you know, sort of well entrenched vested interest. There are lots of things that can be done.
Cool.
Anybody else has a comment on my earlier question?
Yeah, I think Niyati wants to say
Yes,
something.
Niyati,
Yeah.
I want to hear Niyati.
Niyati, please can you unmute?
Sure. Yes. Sir, first of all, we are enjoying your sessions a lot. As we just also said in the first session that we did, we get a lot of idea. We feel that we are living in the moment when, it was our golden time of Congress. Like we had Rajiv Gandhi ji as our PM, and the way it was, India was developing. Yeah, just one thing, sir. If we can have topics in the coming time, especially, sir, like one would be achievements of Congress. Sir. I mean, you have seen it closely. How and what Congress has done. So that is one thing that we should include in our topics.
We can do a series on it.
Right
I'll tell you, we can do a series on it.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
that would be really, really nice, sir, because many of the people, especially the very latest, like the generation now, they are not really aware, sir. And I
Okay.
think this is very important that we should make them understand.
That's a good idea.
I mean, so that they actually know what is the worth of Congress.
Absolutely.
So I think this is one good suggestion that I just came because
Sure.
there
Just
are many, sir, we can, but then this is something good to begin and include.
agree with you 100%, Niyati, and thank you for the input. This is the kind of input I need. Okay.
Yeah. So there is another, I think Pragya needs to chip in. Yeah, Pragya, go ahead. Pragya, can you unmute?
Sam, maybe taking Niyati's input, should we do Congress achievements as a topic next week?
Okay, let's wait for the third results and then we'll decide how to structure it.
So
Then we'll
how
decide.
are you seeing the results, assembly results, Sam? What are you kind of, are there anything, your major changes,
Hard to say.
transformations?
I think Congress will do better. How much better, you don't know, because Indian exit polls are difficult to judge based on the fact that people don't tell you what they mean and they don't mean what they tell you. Okay. So we'll see. We are hoping for better, but it's only tomorrow, so we'll know a little better. Okay.
Thank you.
But the basic
Shan,
idea
I
is
think
that
Pragya has something to say. So
yes, Pragya.
yeah.
Can you hear me, Priyamvada?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm Pragnya, and to begin with, I'd like to say, since you asked a question, and in reply to that, so you have no idea how valuable it is for us to be in a space with you, listening to you, all those experiences, all those anecdotes. In Hindi, it's a khazana, and in English, it's a treasure, sir. We value
You are very, Pragnya, you are a very generous person.
No, sir, I am not. It's a fact. There's you are a walking Wikipedia for us, and the more we get to hear you, there is so much more enrichment. That was an answer to your question, sir. My question is, sir, now that with a fractured freedom of speech in India today, hoping that we are getting almost all. I mean, I don't know how the results results are going to turn up tomorrow, but hoping that we get all the 5 states and many more by 2024. What is it that Congress can do to restore freedom of speech? I mean, like, it's gone from bad to worse, and probably it's rock bottom right now. How can it be rectified? What can be done? That's one question. I have another question, sir, after you answer this.
Okay, Pegna, you triggered something in my mind. You know, I want to take liberty to share with you, maybe in advance, which I was not going to do. It just happens that
Please do, sir.
you have been so generous, so it just forces me to say it. You know, I have been thinking sometimes at night that if Rajiv Gandhi came alive today, what would he do? I worked with him so closely. We became so close friends. He will call me at night at 10:30 and say, Sam, come. So I'll take my wife with me because, I haven't met my wife all day. I'm out. So she and I would go to him. And I remember the first time when we both went to him, I told Anu, that's my wife, to sit little at a distance so Rajiv and I could work. So Anu just sat on the side. And immediately Rajiv got up and said, No, no, Anu, you sit here next to me. This is Prime Minister of India. And I was worried because he'll ask some questions of her. And poor Anu would not know what to say. And she might say something and he'll agree. Okay. He was such a decent human being, I tell you. He was a gem of a fellow. Loving, caring. You don't have to be the most intelligent man in the world. But you have to have the right soul. He had the right soul. So if Rajiv Gandhi comes alive today and sees where India is, he'll be very proud of certain things and he'll be very concerned about certain things. So I've been analyzing this in my mind. What would he be proud of? I can tell you he'll be proud of our young people. He'll be proud of what we have done in IT and telecom, space and all, business. He'll be very proud of our girls because our girls are really amazing. I went to a convocation at Ravi Shankar University maybe 15, 20 years ago in Raipur. And I'm giving all this degree and putting, gold medal on the neck and all. Would you believe that there were something like 50 or 60 gold medalists? There was one boy. One boy. Okay. There's a tribal girl who got a PhD in math. I mean, as she walked in, you can see she's a tribal girl. And she had a PhD in math. I was so proud, I had tears in my eyes. And people didn't get it, saying, Oh, what is happening to Sam? I said, This is the India Rajiv Gandhi would have been very proud of. Okay? That my girls are doing much better all over the world. They are smart, they have guts, they speak up. But Rajiv Gandhi would be very unhappy with the state of democracy, state of institutions, lies, social media. Okay. So we have done good in many areas, but we have a lot to do and we can fix it. Okay. So I'm thinking of writing a book on this, saying Unfinished Agenda of Rajiv Gandhi. And I'm debating right now. I'll wait till the election comes, and then if I have time, I will do it. And that will tell you all what we did and what we didn't do. It'll be an honest report. Okay. Thank you. So that was the question you had asked, right?
Yeah, go ahead with your second question.
Yeah. My second question, sir, is about the amount of hatred that has been seeping into the society because of whatever has happened in the past decade. And it has seeped in deep and is so much deep rooted. Although it is human nature to love, and that reigns above everything, and surely it will surface very soon. But is there any possibility or in any which way that something about that can be undone? Policies are okay, governance is okay, but this communal divide and this hate politics that has happened, do you think, sir, anything can be done about that by the government if Congress were to come back to power?
I think this issue is more for the community than for the government, personally. I mean, government has to improve policy, government has to provide security, safety, all that is true. But ultimately, community has to decide that we are a diverse country. It is good to have Muslim as my neighbor, Sikh as my neighbor, Christian as my neighbor. It is good to go to school where all children are together. It is good to celebrate diversity. Love everybody. When people talk about women, they forget their mother, their sisters, their cousins, their mausi are all women. Okay. How can you separate women? How can you hate women? How can you be unfair to women? Because they are yours. Okay. So people have to think that in my community, I will not allow hate. So local community leader, somebody will have to rise and say, hey, in my community, we will not allow hate. We will not disrespect women. We will treat our children well. It is the responsibility of the local community. Forget about government. Government sitting in Delhi can't do much. Okay? Each community will have to come together with community leaders and say, we have to live in peace. There are gundas here who want to divide us, but we got to fight them. Okay? Come, we celebrate all the festivals together. Okay? We can sing Kavali, we can sing bhajan together also. Okay? That has to come from within. Okay? And I think it's more of a community activity than a government activity. Thank you.
Sir, I have a suggestion to this, if we can put it to you and somehow you could convey it wherever it can be implemented.
Bolo.
So when it comes to this communal divide, and we want to do something about it, in India, nothing succeeds more or nothing is loved more than a sport like cricket and films.
Okay.
So in recent times, I had actually spoken about this in some other space also, but I repeat it here. In recent times, there was a film called Jawan, which addressed a lot of questions and lots of concerns of the society today and whatever is happening today. And surprisingly, in these present times also, that movie was a rage. And it broke all kinds of records.
Mm-hmm.
And some would have thought that it wouldn't do well, it would tank, but it was it did all kinds of, it broke all kinds of records. And a sport is again a place where people forget all communal or all community, the differences between communities. So if Congress were to come back to power, if they could appeal to the film industry or to the sports authorities or whoever to promote more movies or more sports in places where these divides are more, I think movies are something that unite India and they forget everything. It's a very, very strong voice and people do follow films a lot.
So what you're saying is we should encourage more movies and games.
He has a very
good idea. Good idea. I think we can do that.
A very
Good
huge
idea.
following
Very
it.
good idea. Okay, I think it's a great
There
idea.
are
We can
many
do
who
that.
would like to listen to him and
So why
make,
don't you?
and make more movies.
Pragya, Sam sir is trying to say something. Just one second.
Yeah, what I would suggest is if you can do for me a small couple of page note on it.
Certainly, sir.
Okay,
I
then I
have
will.
actually a concrete idea on
Yeah,
this.
so I'll pass it on to some people, and at least there will be some conversation because a lot of these ideas need to be socialized. Okay,
Yes,
they're a
sir.
good idea, simple idea. Okay,
Yes.
and if we can give it to
Yes.
10 people in the industry, maybe 2 will get sensitized and do something.
Exactly,
Okay,
sir.
absolutely. Do
Thank
it.
you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Pragya, thank you, Priyamada. So there are a couple of questions in Zoom. I will with which I will try to wrap. Sam, I think we are holding you despite your
No
health
problem.
situation.
Yeah.
So Abrar Khan has asked how we can do something different for North Indian people so that they will understand about the BJP propaganda on social media, utilizing social
I
media
think
maybe.
they understand. It's not that they don't understand. They
Okay,
understand, and they are party
that
to it. Okay.
there is no south north debate in this.
Yeah, but they understand they are party to it. Okay.
Talesh
And
Patak, go ahead. Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I have another question, but you want to sum up? Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. No, there's another question. Fine, I'll take the question.
Okay, Talesh Patak is asking, how do we make youth get the right information? So how we can sensitize? Because the current youth are today majorly the young voters are all ill-informed according to Talesh Patak.
But youth will have to learn to understand the difference between truth and lies. They will have to search for their own truth. If they think whatever information comes to them is right, they are making a big mistake. They need to learn to process information well. Where is it coming from? Why it is there? When did it come? What is the purpose of it? You got to learn to process information. Okay. And that's essential in this information age. So as you learn to read and write, you also need to learn to process information. That's a requirement today. Okay.
Sounds good, Sam. I think that's it from the Zoom side. There are a bunch of questions in the other media streams, but with respect to time, we want to keep it as 1 hour. So it's already 1 hour 23 minutes. I want to keep it short so that the people also in future who want to listen to the stream, they are staying interested. So thanks a lot, Sam. Looking forward to have you. I want you to pass upon some passing comments. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thank you again, all of you, especially the young team that works on putting it together. I don't pay much attention as to what goes in the background. So I know a lot of your work doesn't get recognized as well as it should be. I'm looking at the front end, and it all looks good at the front end because a lot of work goes into the back end. So thank you. If these conversations are useful, I would love to do more and more. Next week, I may have a little bit of a problem. I'll tell you why, because Rahul and I plan to be in Asia Pacific. We are going to be in Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Vietnam, and Indonesia. I don't know where we are on Saturday morning. I'll check. So I will let you know. If I can do it from there, I'll do it. But if I'm in the middle of a meeting there at this time, because we plan to meet all the top leaders there, we are meeting prime ministers and presidents and all kinds of people. So some meetings may prevent me from having access to this. And when we are together, we have very little time because we get bombarded with all kinds of requests and people and local and IOC leaders will come from all over. So I'll come back to you on what we can do next week. Okay. But thank you. I'm hoping for better results on December 3rd, and really love you and appreciate all the work that you have put into this. And let's focus on richness and reach. I will deliver to you richness as much as I can. You got to deliver to me reach. Okay. So we are partners in this. Whatever help you need,
Thank you, Sam.
let's get in every country, every district, and you're sort of a champion who will make sure that the distribution. For example, I have lots of friends in Toronto. Okay. So you take somebody in Toronto and say, would you take responsibility to distribute this right to people in Toronto, right to people in Calcutta, right to people in Bangalore, Hyderabad? You got to set up a network like that. See, right now we have not made that effort.
Yeah.
In every city,
We-
you need to find one person who will say, I will promote this idea. So in Hyderabad, I'll get 10 people lined up. In Toronto, I'll get 20 people lined up. Okay. And then you will add, you take 500 top cities in the world where Indians are. And if you add 10 people in each city, which is very simple, you get 5,000 people. Okay. Or you take 20 cities and get 100 people in each. Okay. So you got to think differently. So I would request you guys to have a session. Rakesh is good at this. Rakesh can organize it also. Just have a session on how to multiply. Okay.
Sure thing, Sam.
Thank you.
I'll do that. And thank you, Sam. And just want to acknowledge the efforts of Avi Dandia, George Abraham from Indian Overseas Congress,
So
who are
he's
taking
there
care of
online.
such.
I didn't see him, but
They,
thank you.
they are not online, but they have helped us reach out. And Praveen from Sevadal, Congress Sevadal,
Hi,
Virender
Praveen.
Vashisht, all of them have, Virender Vashisht has helped us reach to Indian
Sure.
Youth Congress and
Virendra is
National
good.
Student
Virendra is
Leaders.
very good at media, but they are all our people. They are all our family. Okay, you got to get some others
Yeah.
also. Virendra, I take him for granted. I can take him for granted. They are part of me. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Virendra. Thank you, Avi.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Priyamata. Thank you, Niyati and Praveen. Thank you, guys. Bye.